Here we go. We're talking about the desert mule deer hunt I just went on and the 5 tips, potentially 4, to help you potentially harvest a desert mule deer. Number 1, getting right into it. Get high and glass wide. Super important. So you need to get as high as possible, 2 degree, and glass as wide as possible. And what I mean by 2 degree, don't want to get too into it, but come evening, you don't want to be on top of the mountain because if you do see something, you won't be able to get it. But the importance of getting high is that you could glass into the washes because you have a better angle. So to a degree, the higher mountain, hill, cliff, whatever you are on, the better. Number 2, they could be anywhere. They could literally be anywhere. So I hunted Arizona in the ruts, and it is known that a desert mule deer can and may travel up to 5 miles to find a doe in estrus. So just because you aren't seeing them, it doesn't mean they aren't there. So what I would recommend is if you're in a new area and you're not seeing any deer in that prime movement time, you know, like sunrise up until about 9-10 a.m., get off whatever mountain you're on, go walk around and look for tracks and look for some type of recent sign, and that'll give you a better idea if they are in that area at that time or same time you are there. Number 3, in my experience, when we just hunted Arizona, me and Jaime, they were literally moving all day. So in relation, this is where 3 and 4 kind of go in. Stay behind the glass. If you are on a good vantage point and you have a very wide range and you verified that you found some tracks during the day or the day before and they look kind of fresh, stay behind the glass. Glass, glass, glass until your eyes melt off your face because they could literally be moving all day, especially during the ruts. These bucks are constantly pushing these does, which means they are constantly moving and constantly feeding. We saw deer, me and Jaime saw deer at the most random times of day, moving, middle of the day, noon, up and feeding, and we weren't used to that. So when we saw something, we were just thinking, this is so unusual for what we're used to hunting here in California, and it forced us to stay behind the glass that much more and stay that much more engaged during the day for the potential of them still moving and potentially us finding a deer in those odd hours, in those non-high peak hours that we're not used to, as in the morning or right before sunset. And the last one, like I said, 4, 5-ish, 5, whatever we're on, be aggressive. It was weird for me because I'm so used to playing the wind, and I'm not saying you shouldn't play the wind, but I'm used to a dominant wind sustaining for that direction for the remainder of the day, kicking in around 1 to 2 p.m. This was not the case. It was constantly swirling. So the deer that we had the miscommunication on, where I got within about 100, 150 yards, the wind was constantly swirling, and Jaime was telling me to get down there, but I didn't want to get busted again because I got busted earlier in the day because of the wind. But since it was swirling so much, I decided to hesitate, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. And once I got off of that little mountain we were on, and I went down to the same height or the same elevation that the deer was on, the buck was on, it was constantly swirling, and I just had to play it as safe as possible. Everything was going well, miscommunication happened. But those are the 4 to 5 things I think will help you harvest a desert mule deer if you choose to do it this coming season. That's all I got. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.